Students, morning madam. Today, our topic today will be resources management. Today we'll be having a 55 minutes class and we'll discuss the resource management, the ways of managing non-renewable resources, and the ways of managing non-renewable resources in home, kitchen, and also in the car use. Okay. Okay, what is resources management? Anyone? When you hear the word resources, what does that? What comes up in your mind? Resources or resources management? Resources management is to assist families to improve their living standards by allowing them to use their time and energy to work and save their money to be able to build their homes. After this lesson, uh, students will be able to achieve their objective and learn something. Okay, students? Resources management. This is where living standards are raised as a result of more family members taking financially as well as domestic responsibilities in the home. This has allowed for sharing and trust to be built with family members. Okay, students? Some some ways of managing non-renewable resources. Okay, before we move on, there are two types of resources. One is renewable resources and non-renewable resources and renewable resources. Renewable resources, these are resources that can be reused or recycled, and non-renewable resources are things that cannot be reused. Example of we will go through non-renewable and renewable resources. Uh, some ways of managing non-renewable resources is, um, can you give me the three types of R, or anyone knows three types of R? Yes, recycle, reuse, and reduce. Okay, some ways of managing non-renewable resources is, for reduce, is using carry bags or special shopping bags to carry groceries during shopping instead of plastic bag. You know, if you have carry bags or special shopping bags at home, every time when you go for shopping, make sure to use that carry bags or carry that bags instead of going to go and buy plastic bag. Okay, because plastic bag cost money and also cost pollutions. And another one is reuse. This is where reuse rainwater, which has been, this is some of the example. Reuse rainwater which has been collected in old drums to water flower beds. This is if you have rainwater that has been collected in some old drums, try to reuse that rainwater. Water your gardens or your flower, or or you can use it for scrubbing or not wash yeah washing. Another one is, do not discharge any object that doesn't work. Get it repaired and reuse. Make sure to do not discharge any object. Get it repaired and reuse. The last R is recycle. This is where all unused clothes can be made into totally new garment, and sewing notions from old clothes can be collected. Example, buttons, zip, hooks. You can use these unused clothes by making doormat. That is one example of recycle. I think next week we'll be having a TVET week. We will use this lesson as an example of our. We will use this 3R as an example of our As an example, we will be using it through TVET week. Also, you can, from that unused clothes, you can collect the buttons, zip, hoops, and you use it again. These are some ways of managing non-renewable resources at home. Now we move on into the kitchen. This is where the use of manual equipment instead of electrical appliances, use of manual power. As an example can be collect rainwater and boil before drinking. Store water properly in basins for washing. Always keep the taps closed at all times. Make sure when you finish using the taps, make sure to close it at all times. Use leftover foods to prepare meals. Use the vegetable peelings to produce compost manure. Use of cooking gas economically. And you can use firewood instead of kerosene. This is some ways that we can do instead of using electrical appliances. These are some of the manual equipment. Okay, if you've born in the village, you know very well you can use firewood instead of kerosene. You can use use the vegetable fillings to produce compost for your vegetable garden, and we can store water in the basins. Okay, now we'll move on to car use. In car use, instead of using petroleum, such as diesel and benzene, car owners can resort to biofuel. People residing near to their workplaces can manage on foot. If you are near to your workplaces, it's good to walk rather than catching a bus. Use public transport in place of individual vehicles. This is in order to help to conserve valuable petrol. Okay? Use the use of carpool, where several people with a common destination go together in one vehicle in order to save petrol. Another one can be traveling on horseback in the village, can be one form of transportation. This is one way to to help to conserve available petrol. And then we'll move on to electricity. Some ways of managing it. In electricity, make sure when you use the light, make sure to switch off lights when not needed. Use solar energy to supply electricity. These are free. When the sun comes out, you charge your solar and then use it to supply electricity. No need to go and no need to use lights from power. Make sure to switch off power points at all times. And when using the lowest wattage energy save bulbs, try to use energy save bulbs. This is some ways in order to manage. Okay. Okay, students. Solargy is like for people in the village. Solar energy is mostly used in the community in the village. If you go to a village or island, for example, Taveuni, if you go to Taveuni, mostly you won't see any what's this? Any pole or what? You see, villages they use solar. It's free, and you don't need to buy anything. Save money, save energy, and make sure that power sockets need to be turned off and not in. use. Okay, the good thing is about fossil fuel is that unlike many renewable resources of energy, fossil fuels are relatively less expensive to produce. That's probably why it is high in demand. Okay, students? And that's the good thing. And the bad thing about fossil fuels is that fossil fuels are made up mainly of carbon. When they are burned, used, they produce a lot of carbon compounds, carbon dioxide, CO2, and other greenhouse gases that hurt the environment in many ways. So that is one of the pollutions. That is the bad thing about fossil fuels. Air, water, and land pollutions are also the consequences of using fossil fuels. Okay, the words to know. Words to know. When we have finished with a lesson, some words to know: resources, human resources, non-human resources management, non-reusable resources, 3R, fossil fuels, solar energy, and the carpool. So, to sum up our lesson today, what is resources? This is some ways to assist families to improve their living standards by allowing them to use their time and energy to work and also to what? Save money. What is renewable resources? These are things that can be renewed. Example, thank you. And renewable resources, non-renewable resources, these are things that cannot be renewed. Okay. For home, what is our 3R that we know? Reduce, recycle, and reuse. For kitchen, what are some of the ways to manage resources is collect rainwater and boil before drinking. What else? Using firewood instead of kerosene. Use what are some of the ways to manage resources? Use public transport in place of individual vehicles. And also, if your working place is nearby to your residence, walk instead of catching a bus or what. Traveling on horseback in the village instead of catching a bus. That is one way of form of transportation. In electricity, what some ways use energy, solar energy to supply electricity. Make sure to switch off the power points after use and make sure that power sockets that need to be turned off when not in use. Okay. There are two categories of family resources: human and non-human resources. Resources are needed to achieve our basic needs, wants, and goals. Okay, students? And non-renewable resources are becoming scarce and needed to be conserved. Make sure, students, when but after this lesson today, make sure you follow or go home and if you see some of these some of the lesson that you have learned today, that you have learned, make sure to go home and do it. Okay, students? I'll be giving you some questions. um, this will be your homework, and make sure to write the answer, give example. When you come for tomorrow class, you come with your answers, and I'll ask each one of you to give answers. Okay, our questions will be for your homework today will be differentiate between the following: renewable resources and non-renewable resources, human and non-human resources, and explain how resources have assisted you and your family to improve your living standards. Make sure you do your homework and come back tomorrow with the answers. These are very easy easy questions, and also these questions will come through your term and exam for sure, because in this lesson only the words that you need to know is resources, non-human resources, human resources, and renewable resources with non-renewable resources, and some ways to manage energy and also the 3 hours that you need to know. Okay, students, I hope that you have enjoyed the class today, that you have learned something. I hope that you are not sleeping through the class. Make sure to keep this in your head. Come tomorrow with the answer, and then we'll move on to our next class. Okay, students, um, have a blessed afternoon. I'll see you in our next class. That will be tomorrow. Okay, students, make sure you go for your next period, and have a blessed afternoon. Thank you.